Welcome everybody to That Comic Show, where we are here to discuss the big blockbuster that dropped this weekend, Wonder Woman. I'm here with the fellas, and we're just going to talk to you about what we thought of the movie, our pros, our cons, maybe get into some theories or some conspiracy theories. Now, we're not going to talk about all that stuff, but we do want to give you our reaction. We want to give you this review, and hopefully, if you haven't seen the movie now, you go out and see it. So, let's get to it. So a little bit of an introduction. My name is C. Sams. I will not consider myself to be the main host. We have 3 hosts here. But like I said, my name is C. Sams, and this is who I am.
This is Mano, aka I Am Legend, co-host.
What's going on, everybody? This is Reynard. I've been a DC fan since Danny DeVito bit people's nose. Just letting y'all know.
This is Civil War thing.
But let's not digress.
Yes, let's focus. Right now we're on Wonder Woman. So right now, currently at Wonder Woman, we're looking at the pros and the cons of what we saw. We all saw the movie, either premiere night or over the weekend. And right now we want to just give you our takes of what we liked and what we didn't like, and what worked and what didn't work for the movie.
And pretty much we're trying to figure out if any movie's going to surpass Civil War.
But right now, we're looking at Wonder Woman.
Yes. So
The Wonder Woman.
the pros. Now, I really liked the movie for what it attempted to be.
Okay.
And I think that it nailed what they were trying to go for.
Which was?
Which was pretty much an introduction to Wonder Woman.
Okay.
For those who saw BVS, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice last year,
All right.
One of the best parts of the movie.
Forward.
One of the best parts of the movie,
Yes.
hands down,
Oh,
was
absolutely.
Wonder Woman.
Was Wonder Woman. I would agree.
Me personally, I thought she was okay. She was good. I didn't think she was mind blowing.
Okay.
I thought she was
Just want to
good.
make sure you tell the truth, because when I told you Wonder Woman was the best part of BVS, you was like, she was...
Here and there.
I had my own, and trust me, guys, we will go into that on future episodes. But when you look at Wonder Woman from BVS, a lot of people were intrigued. They wanted to know more about Diana Prince. So now this movie gave you a proper introduction of Diana Prince. Would you guys agree?
I agree. This is the first character DC had where they actually expanded on the character, gave us some info on the character, and I loved it.
I appreciated
character.
the step that they took. I mean, granted, it almost as if they had to be pushed to give us these characters. You know, they always kind of bank on, good old reliable Superman and Batman, and now they kind of have to expand beyond those two to give us a good complete universe. We have to get more characters involved, and this is obviously a great first step, because we all know, if you ever grew up watching comic book or reading comic books or watching shows, we all know that there's a trinity. We know the trinity. It's Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman.
Right.
Greatest comic heroes to...
Of course, they're
Generation.
It's the truth.
They're gods among us, That's what they're presented as.
Yes.
So this is DC's way of giving us the third that's never been really featured in the front, other than outside of comic, cartoon movies. But she's never really been presented in her own live action. This is a big step for them and for just the comic book genre in general.
So my question then is this. In the movie,
Yes.
and just to let you guys know, we will be talking about some spoilers.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen the movie yet, please be warned that there will be some spoilers. Not a lot, because the movie was pretty straightforward for what it was going to be.
Only one big twist, I would say.
I want to get to that. I want to get to that.
Yeah.
So let's take it from the beginning. So in the beginning, we see Wonder Woman as a young woman, as a little girl, growing up in the Mascara.
The mascara. Yeah.
Okay. So we see her growing up. We see that they're making hints to her origin and how she was created. And they're making hints that she's different from all the other Amazonians. And I wanted to see, well, what makes her different from anybody else if they're all the same. But I like how the movie didn't physically go into it as if to show you how she was made, but they made reference to why she's special from everybody else.
And one part that intrigued me was when they were saying that she was the only baby on the island, the only kid on the island.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like, okay, that's weird, but how it came along a little later made perfect sense.
I mean, getting back to the whole storytelling, the cinematography was really beautiful in this movie. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
And I would say that...
That's one of my pros, Patty Jenkins.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Patty Jenkins is the director.
Is the director of this movie, and she does a phenomenal job, and she works great with a cinematographer who actually gives you almost like a comic book's telling of the history of the island, the Amazonians, and Diana Prince's just birth and formation and how she comes about. And that's what kind of gives you just this look into just this beautiful like comic book strip almost come to life of her existence.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna get into when she gets off the island.
Off the island.
So
how did you feel about the World War One scenery? Because I believe in the comics they used World War Two actually. But how did you feel about World War One and?
To be absolutely honest with you, I thought it was a good move. It was a really good move for them to go World War One because you have another movie that came out about 6 years ago.
Which one?
You know, Captain America. That one was centered in World War Two and a lot of stuff with the Nazis and stuff like that. We saw a lot of that in that movie. So going into World War One, not a lot of people know about World War One because it was a little bit further back. But I like how they decided to take the story into this era and how they showed how women, even when she was interjecting herself into certain things, they stopped everything and said, yo, who's this woman? Why is this woman in here? Shouldn't she be doing this? At that time, women were only secretaries and housewives. That was it.
Yeah.
So you really didn't see a lot of, or nurses, you didn't see a lot of women in these type of roles doing certain things. And I thought that was pretty good for the film.
And I think that whole scene, like just showing her, and one of the pros for me was her acting. Gal Gadot's acting for being a fish out of water. Hold on.
No. I'm agreeing with
her whole.
Because somebody here said that
she was there.
Yeah, she wasn't the one for Wonder Woman. She would be the worst
right here.
Wonder Woman.
But I think Gal Gadot's acting. I think her acting as a fish out of water, especially with her interaction with Chris Pine, who plays Steve Trevor, was just very beautifully well done. Like for me, and I know this, may sound a little sacrilegious to those who love the originals, but like her acting reminded me of Christopher Reeve's Clark Kent. Like how he come across like, gee willikers, this is just a great way, just a great day, Lois. And like he kind of she bounced off of Chris Pine as, he obviously exists in this world. He knows how, men are supposed to be this way, women are supposed to be this way. And, she's just like, well, why do you do that? Why is it this way? And she was able to carry that role for me. Like she was able to give that whole fish out of water. Like I've been on a beautiful island, so I don't know. You're the first man I've ever seen in my entire life. Like that's how she carried it. And like that's what able to sell me on her being able to be this strong woman, because she didn't know any other way to be other than be a strong woman. That's just all she knows.
And it worked, and it caused a lot of opportunities for comedy, which was done very well.
Very well. It was well received in this DC world, because sometimes, listen, Batman is the only one who should be brooding. Not every single character. Superman has his happy-go-lucky days. Wonder Woman is very optimistic.
Superman's never happy. So far, what we've seen, I haven't seen the happy day.
In this DCU,
people.
From in BBS, they shoot his boy, and we didn't even know it was his boy. I'm just looking like, why? Who was? We didn't know Jimmy Olsen got.
We're digressing.
We digressing. Bring it back to Wonder Woman.
Bring it back to Wonder Woman. Let's bring it back to Wonder Woman.
The acting was great for Chris Pine and Gal Gadot.
Okay.
How did you like Gal Gadot?
Okay, so she surprised me.
Okay.
Do you want to apologize to her? Probably, maybe.
I wouldn't go. I would say she is the best Wonder Woman that we have, because she is the only Wonder Woman on the big screen that we've ever had.
Okay.
So I can only base that.
I don't know
on,
if I want to take that as disrespect.
It's not a shot. It's not a shot. If I said, I won't say she was the best ever, because I don't remember Linda Carter. I don't remember Linda Carter from.
They don't even do the show reruns of that.
Yeah, like I really don't remember how she was. And back in that day, it was a little bit different. I would say Gal Gadot surprised me in the fact that she was able to.
So is Lou Ferrigno your favorite Hulk? Is that what we're saying? We digress. Never mind.
He's the only physical embodiment of Hulk, if you think about it. Because all those other Hulks were computer generated.
Well,
all right.
But back to Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot. I think she did a great job. There were certain parts where I thought she was very bland and very wooden, where I kind of saw her forcing the acting. But that's
which parts?
Which parts?
Because all the parts she hit notes for me.
And
she was actually acting like her acting ability was better than what we expected. She carried the movie. She carried the movie. You said she wasn't going to be able to, but she actually carried.
Like even the part where she had to rally the soldiers to go onto the battlefield.
Perfect.
Like it didn't feel like she was giving the let's get together guys movie. Like it was just one of those things where it's like, this is who I've always been, and I don't know any other way. Like that's how it came across to me. You know, it wasn't as if she was giving a speech. It was just Wonder Woman just not knowing, like, I cannot not do this. Like I have to get up and do something. That's how she came across to me. So like, I understand. Like you're hesitant to accept.
I wouldn't say that.
I just feel like
I thought she played those parts very well. When she was able to draw people in.
Yes.
I get that. But then again, there were certain parts where she kind of had a blank stare. She kind of had like, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
There was a part of the movie when she came into the world with Chris Pine and she was walking around with him and everything like that.
Yes.
And there were certain parts where even after the argument that they had with the generals and everything, and she's walking down the step and everything, she just sounded, it almost sounded like she was just reading off the script. Okay. And it was just her just reading it, trying not to break her accent. And I get it, but those were just, and that's, for me, this is nitpicking. But overall, I think she did a good job for what she was given.
That's all I want to hear.
I think she did a good job. Now you're asking me to say, she's the best ever? I'm not going to go as far as to say that. But I will say she did very good in the role based on her past experience.
She's the best
as an
ever
actress.
live action Wonder Woman we've ever seen.
Okay. Okay.
We got him.
We can do that. We can do that.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. All right. Any more pros? Before I get to my main pro.
Was spectacular.
Action was on point.
She did great. The choreography was great. It's just a director. Like I said, Patty Jenkins was awesome in this one.
Yeah,
she did a great job. But that's it for the pros.
Can I get to my one pro?
Oh,
before we get to the comments.
Apologize.
My one pro was the twist when it came to the villain. Now the villain, the whole time I thought it was a certain. I thought it was a certain.
That's not my guys. That's not my guys.
I thought it was a certain guy, and then when it was a different guy that stepped in, and I'm trying not to spoil anything, when it was a different person who stepped in, I was like, very good, very good. Because
I think you kind of spoiled it.
no, because there was many people that they met along the way.
I think we're doing spoilers anyway, right? We might as well.
I mean, are we doing major or minors? What we doing here?
Let's do minors.
Let's do minors.
Let's do minors.
Okay, we can do minor. Minor spoilers.
There was a certain guy that the trailer introduced as the potential villain, but another person ended up being the villain. And I love how they made that person the villain. Even when the person showed their true colors at the end, I was like, okay, I can go with that.
Nice little curveball.
Nice little curveball, and you don't see that a lot in most comic book movies.
That's not appropriate. Okay,
So I like that.
Okay.
That's my pro.
That's your last. Okay,
That's my last.
So we go to comments.
Oh, can I just get one last?
Okay,
One last pro.
Get your pros.
I liked the commentary of Patty Jenkins directing.
Right.
If you watch the movie, especially with this being the first, okay, granted we understand that there's Catwoman and Elektra, but this we don't play with those. We don't play with.
Never
Okay, so this is one of the Hollywood's first major. You know, she is successful. You know, woman, female led and directed and acted blockbuster, and you know the way Patty Jenkins went about giving social commentary through the movie, it would have been easy for her to drum up the whole woman aspect, but she actually took it from a deeper level and she went with the marginalized people. So she went with the Native American, that was helping them out in the war, and he says an incredible line in the movie. I don't want to spoil it. I want you guys to watch it and kind of get that.
And if you look at that whole group, one guy had PTSD.
PTSD. Yeah, one guy had PTSD. One guy was
He wanted to be an actor, but he couldn't because of the color of his skin.
Because of the color of his skin.
Yeah, they touched on some deep topics.
So they touched on a lot of marginalized people that was reflected, and she didn't make it only about women. And what's funny was the woman the other woman, the secretary, Steve Trevor's secretary, she even becomes empowered after meeting Diana. And it's just like they show how when one woman steps out, when one person bravely steps out, whoever you're marginalized, if you know whatever you are, if you step out there, you can kind of inspire other people, and that's what I felt like Patty Jenkins did a phenomenal job of bringing it home. But it wasn't preachy. It wasn't like, you know, women are strong. It was more like, you know what, this is how she faces battles, and it was just a great social commentary that she did. But it was, like I said, it's not preachy, but it was just well delivered. You know, the plot just flowed effortlessly, and it just kind of brought these ideas and thoughts home very well. That's a great pro for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. Cons.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Now, you know, surprisingly, this movie doesn't have a lot of cons.
No.
The movie was very well paced. It didn't drag.
Nope.
The scenes went from one shot to the next. It didn't seem chopped up like it was at an editing booth and whoever did it was a 5-year-old child.
Yeah.
It looked like that Patty Jenkins and her team took the time to make sure that this movie gave a coherent story and it flowed. Flowed very nicely.
It gave scenes time to breathe. It didn't
Yes,
jump right to a
yes.
different scene. It was like, all right, let's stay here.
Yes.
Okay, now the next scene. So that was perfect.
Even the humor that they put out
But
there.
that's pros. So
Pros. Cons. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. Cons. Go ahead.
And one thing that I saw the movie with my man right here.
Yes, we did watch it together. Yes.
One thing that we saw is the Zack Snyder effect, which is the overusage of
A slow motion.
Oh, I'm telling it was almost as if she was about to sneeze, she would. Ridiculous.
Too much.
The slow motion was just excessive at times.
Yeah.
It was just, all right, I get it. You have armor that is bulletproof. I get it. I don't need to keep seeing it every time someone shoots a bullet at you. That you're blocking. I get it. You landed your plane. I've gotten off the plane. I'm at my location. Stop trying to get me to get back to the airport. I'm here. We're good. I don't need any more. That was my one big con.
Okay. Same thing. It was the editing of the movie was phenomenally presented and done well, but the editing, as far as when it came to the fight scenes of her deflecting bullets, we know that's an iconic thing of Wonder Woman. You know, the lasso of truth, her wrist, but every fight scene is like I just felt like it was just nothing that they can go back to kind of build on her. Like there's so much more. I would rather have seen her, you know, instead of deflecting, just use her sword. Do something else. Just mix it up a little bit more. And that was my only big comment, was like, you know, they just kept going to that as like the go-to scene of hers.
Not to jump in front of you. It was this one scene. She's getting hit, and she's just like, she's literally just looking at herself like, I can't believe what I'm doing. I'm just like, but you've done this before. So why are we overemphasizing this particular portion? I'm like, there's a situation going on. Let's get to that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What you gotta do?
So
I didn't mind the slow motion. I thought that was okay. The last slow motion in the fight scene against Ares, I'm like, alright, that was a waste. But for my cons was the twist. I didn't like it at all. Now,
Really?
can I say that?
Go ahead.
So when Ares got the whole armor, I'm like, oh, this is about to be a Superman vs. Zod. That's probably the best fight scene we've seen in DCEU. And actually, not in DCEU. That fight scene was awesome. When I seen that, when he putting the armor on, I'm like, this is about to go down. It's about to go down, and it didn't go down.
It didn't live up to what you wanted.
Exactly.
You were hyped to see. Okay.
Even the twist of who Ares was, like, I kind of liked it, that it was somebody on the opposite
side.
team
Yeah.
of the war, I want to say, and not the one you think. I thought that was cool, but then when they find out, I can say, you can cut this out, right? I can say brother, right?
sure.
Okay, when they found out it was a brother, I was like,
I'm not cutting
Talk that talk.
Alright, that's another con. Another con was she was made to be the God killer.
I'm glad you came to it.
So if you are made to be a God killer, that means your mom and Zeus said, hey, I can't beat this guy.
Uh-huh.
We got to make somebody to be a God killer. and she gonna agree to it and have the baby, then you gonna think that once the baby come out, like, hey, gotta start preparing you to be the God killer.
Mm-hmm.
And the mom every step of the way is like, no, I don't want you fighting, and it didn't make sense to me. It seemed like that didn't.
It didn't resonate.
Yeah, it was like, why did you stop her from becoming the God killer if that was your whole plan from the beginning?
Because if you're looking at it, also, if they were stopping her from becoming that God killer, and we don't know how much time went between her allowing her to start training to when she actually left the island. We don't know how much time went between that. So we don't know how much training she got. So, but if she was able to take it to Ares, you have to assume that there was a lot of training going on. But when you say God killer, the main thing was that sword. And they try to make it seem like that was the God killer. And when that sword was taken out of, this is a pro, by the way, for me. When that sword was taken out of the equation, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's what's up. So now you don't have that. So now you have to go into something else. But then he went ahead and told her her main objective. And that was one of the cons for me. Why, as a villain, I'm going to tell you, hey, you have the power to defeat me. So let's fight. Even though I'm like, you're going to come to my side. And you're going to see it from my perspective. But let's fight.
See, when we actually left the theater, he was hot about that part. He was hot. He was hot about that part. And like, for me, that's not so much a con, only because like I've seen it. Because in any comic book, the villain always kind of stands there and gloats about how powerful they are.
They will always gloat, but they will always gloat about like, oh, I'm so powerful, and you know, this is my plan and everything. I'm not going to tell the superhero. that's like Zod. And that's like, not even Zod. Let's say that's Lex Luthor and Superman. And Superman is telling Lex, hey, the only way to defeat me is with a little green rock. I'm going to tell you where to get that green rock. Come back and let's fight. No,
well, I
don't tell him that.
I didn't take away from that. What I got was Ares want humans gone. But he was kind of lonely because there was no more gods left. So I think he wanted her to stay around. I think he didn't mind her. It's just he didn't want humans on the planet.
That's true, because the way he presented it to her was, we are the gods.
Exactly.
They are just little loons around me.
Just get rid of them. But he even mentioned it himself. You are the God killer. Why would you tell her that? In her mind, the sword was the God killer. You got rid of the sword, then that takes all motivation from her. Because you're like, oh, you took away the one weapon that can kill you. Why would you, as a god, tell her that, oh, by the way, you're really the God killer, not the sword? That burned me up.
The funny thing was, before he got to that point, I think that he dropped a hint towards her that, you know, it's like only God can kill a god. If he had left it at that, I think that probably would have sufficed for you. Would that?
Yes.
That would have sufficed.
Yes.
But it's the fact that he said you are the God killer. That's the problem.
Why would you do that?
I get it. It's semantics.
Well,
But
I just think he was cocky. He's like,
he was
I'm
cocky
Ares.
about
Like,
it.
how many guys did I defeat already?
Yeah.
Like,
that was
created, but
you
you don't even know who you are, so I didn't take care of you. That's what I'm thinking he was
That's
saying.
another thing for me. And you guys can comment on the bottom. In Greek mythology, does Ares kill all the gods?
In Greek mythology,
I don't think he kills all the gods.
Oh no.
I know Zeus, Poseidon, and
And Hades.
Hades killed their father, the Titan.
Yeah.
See, we'll get and
I
that was Kronos.
Kronos.
Killed.
Yes.
Kronos. See, I know a little bit Greek mythology, so I was like,
Is it that
but then again, this could be the DC version, and to be honest with you, I'm not brushed up on my history on that, so maybe we can revisit that and come back to that in another.
We can look at it. Definitely dive into it a little more. But overall, it seems like there was more pros than cons. Would you guys agree?
I would agree with
I
that.
got one more comment.
Okay.
This is what
Drop it right there.
I had the movie kind of a little bit high, but not that high.
Okay.
Look at that. But one of my other cons was, so we're in the extended universe, so everything should line up. In Batman vs Superman, Diana didn't win a fight. She didn't. She was done with humans.
I like this guy.
At the end of this film, and this is why I fight. And she jumps. Oh, sorry, that's a spoiler. But she jumps out the window going to help him. Wait a second. We just went through the whole story. And
all right. So here's
and at the end of World War I, it felt like that.
Yeah.
Okay, she wants to help humans now.
Yes.
But when we see her in Batman vs Superman, she did not want to. She was on the plane about to leave when Doomsday's back.
I think it's like a shift in the timeline, and I think this is the biggest
Whoa,
issue.
whoa.
No. I'm not saying. The reason why I say this.
By the way, I said the same thing.
Okay.
He just said the same thing. I said we don't know what took place after World War One to BVS.
This is true.
And maybe over that time, because obviously after the situation, I'm sorry, World War One, right?
World War
I'm
One.
saying after World War
after
World War
World War
II,
II, and then there's other war. So like, especially the situation that took place during the final scene, of important characters to her, important people to her. She may have pulled herself back away from humanity. We don't know, right? And so from there, she may have just sworn it off until the situation took place that kind of brought her to BVS.
The only problem is with that
Yeah.
that scene where, like you pointed out in the pros, where she went out to the battlefield to
Yes.
help a small town.
Yes.
How in BVS would she be able to leave when Doomsday is doing the same thing, pretty much defeating the whole town, and she's getting on the plane?
And just to add to that,
It doesn't sync up. Yeah.
just to add to that, not to play devil's advocate,
Here we go.
but
Okay.
and that's one thing about BVS. BVS, it really is. And this is the reason why I couldn't give this movie a higher grade, because you've already introduced us to Wonder Woman, and this is all part of the lore. So we have to understand what's going on in BVS to get an understanding of what's going to happen for Wonder Woman in the future.
Okay.
Now, she says also she withdrew from humanity for over 100 years. The World War One, like we were discussing, that was roughly about 100 years ago. So if she withdrew from humanity for 100 years, there were wars after World War One. So the movie BVS was telling us that she was pissed off with human beings, and she decided not to help them throughout that 100 years that she was away. And you know what? We're gonna save this part for our speculation segment. So, any more cons?
No cons for me.
That was it.
Okay.
Overall, I thought this movie was great. Take your daughters to see it, take your sons to see it, take your wife, your loved ones. It's a great movie, the best movie in DCEU. I give it a solid 7.5. I had it as an 8 until the ending came, and it kind of fell off for me there.
My immediate reaction of Wonder Woman. I thought it was a great attempt by DC. They did a great job introducing us to Wonder Woman. She did a great job. There were some parts that I thought she was pretty wooden. There were some parts I thought she was just kind of phoning it in, but that's just my personal opinion. I gave the movie a 7.5. Why? For those reasons. The slow-mo really killed it for me, but the overall story, the flow of the story was right on point. I think they did a great job, and I'm looking forward to what DC has to offer going forward. Please get away from that Snyder effect. The action scenes was great. Just let's stick to stories and develop in our characters.
All right. I don't know whether it was just a fanboy in me, the grading curve, or whatever it was, but I give this movie an 8.5. The reason why I loved this movie, because when you watch the movie and you walk out, it's not like, oh, this is a good movie for a DC film, or this is a good movie for, one of those films. It's actually just a really good movie, well directed, well edited, well acted, and the depth of the supporting characters is what made it for me. They were able to present themselves with heart, with courage, with grace, and so that's what sold and brought it home for me to give it this grade.
Jermaine, you was making a lot of sound effects in the background.
Sound effects.
I didn't see an 8.5 film.
Okay.
That's your opinion.
That's fair. I saw 8.5 film. I enjoyed it thoroughly well.
Well, guys, as you can see, there is some disagreement, but that's the beauty about films. Subjective.
That's right.
You watch it, you enjoy it, and you go from there. As you can see, me and my bro here, we got these Wonder Woman pins because AMC took care of us. Where's your pin?
Yeah, well, I didn't see an 8.5.
Probably.
That's right.
But anyway. So, that was it. Wonder Woman, the review by The Comic Show, us. Just like to thank you guys for spending time with us, hanging out with us. Once again, my name is C. Sams.
Mano.
Raynard.
And like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your folks. Go out and see Wonder Woman.
Pass it along.
Pass it on. So, we're good? We can leave this place.
We out.
Sam's out.
Peace.